Ooh. Hello and welcome. This is another video. This time we're going to ride my 1980s Bianchi road bike, which is actually a Franken bike. I had a video about it on here a little while ago, a couple of weeks or so. And today we're going to ride into the west end of Edmonton, even though right now I'm at a transit garage that's behind me in the east end. But we're going to try out some bike lanes that maybe aren't open yet, but there's a stretch that's brand new. From there, gradually, we're going to find a way to get to the west end of Edmonton, explore some footbridges that are out there, and the trails going back through, well, the river valley, basically. And there's something about this road bike that I'm going to share with you later in the video. So there's construction up ahead, no exit, so we're gonna turn here. Yeah, Edmonton can be challenging, even though it's been praised recently for like really transforming the city to benefit cyclists and pedestrians, and there's been a lot of progress, but there's a lot of catching up to do as well. And well, if you're watching this from Europe, Germany, the Netherlands, maybe Denmark, you're probably gonna think, yeah, no, this isn't gonna cut it. But for North America, Edmonton isn't bad, let me tell you that. I'm on a stretch here that doesn't have a bike lane yet, so I'm sharing the road with cars. But as you could probably tell, well, now there's one behind me, but traffic is not very busy here, and the road is super wide, so I should feel pretty safe here. But the thing is, sharing any lane with motorized traffic never really feels 100% safe. So just for now, this is the end of the bike lane. However, it looks like there's more coming across this intersection. It's under construction though. So right now I have very few options that are actually good. So this is 113A Street, but I have no choice but to use a sidewalk here or share the road. Since there's nobody walking on the sidewalk, I'm just going to decide breaking the law. This might be a good idea. There, look at this. Well, maybe you get a better idea now of what Edmonton's infrastructure actually looks like. For the most part, it's in need of maintenance, rebuilding. And what's to complain about the service road? Well, it only goes for a few blocks, and then you have to worry about something else. Yeah, right here it's about 7 or 8 lanes, major throughway, 137th Avenue, plus the service road. So I don't know if they built this the most efficient way that they could have, but for me on the bicycle, it is a headache. wanted to show you the transition between where it's just a service road and now it's a multi-use trail, and I'm hoping that it's gonna go on as a multi-use trail because it's so much better. I think from here on it's probably good for a long stretch. And it's a pedestrian light, but it's good. Of course, for my road bike, this isn't really the best.
And now, let me show you through a regular major intersection in Edmonton. And those are typical. You might stand here forever, unless, of course, you find the back button. You have to push that in order to activate the light. And now, let's cross. And once again, we have to deviate. Theoretically, you have the right of way. However, there's no enforcement for distracted driving in Edmonton, so people might be on their phone while they're turning, and they may not see you.
I recorded that intersection because on the previous one, I almost got run over, and I didn't have the camera running. You see that to cross this street, you have to swerve out of your way really quite a bit twice in order to connect to your trail or, you know, to the crossing. And what it causes is that vehicles that are turning, especially left turning, don't realize that you're in their path because, like, I got a green light and I'm not going to stop. But left turning vehicles, they're looking at their oncoming traffic and not at the bike lane. So it could happen so fast, guys. So they want you to stop and struggle around these railroad tracks. Yeah, especially I don't think there are too many trains going on those tracks at all. Of course, if you know better than that, maybe you can correct me. Now I've come to an impossible spot, but the light is green. I can get across here. It's basically game over for cycling paths or anything related to it. See, to go on here, I have to go on the shoulder. And this will bring me across the Anthony Henday Drive, hopefully, back into Edmonton. Yeah, there's still a nice multi-use trail on the other side, but then it just ends and you're left on an intersection like this with no indication where the bike route might be. So that's how it is. I got a green light, gotta go here. So we're running on the shoulder, hoping that drivers are keep their eyes open and on the road instead of on the phone. See, this is what I see. If I gotta cross this here. Do you remember me saying in the last video that it wouldn't be a real adventure if nothing went wrong? Well, you got it in this video too. Something just went wrong. When I was turning around over there, like just at the last spot where I was recording, all of a sudden I heard a loud bang coming from my bike. What could it possibly be? I'll show you. One of these is broken. This one right here, see? So now for the rest of this ride I'll be compromised. It's not the first time this happens. In the years that I had these wheels, and especially this front wheel, I think it's the third time. I always just replace the spoke. But I think what I need to do is actually rebuild the entire wheel, because yeah, I got this wheel the way it was, and well, I had to throw it quite a bit, but there was no replacing parts when I first got it. And then as the spokes started breaking, I had to replace them. So there goes another one. It's a bummer, but I can still ride. It just wobbles a tiny little bit. Don't even have to unhook the brake, so that's good. So I'm not gonna let this broken spoke spoil my ride. I have to be a lot more careful now, but I can still handle it. Look, it's a nice trail that I got. It's overgrown, but it is still a very good separated bicycle trail. So I'm definitely grateful, and I don't know if you can hear my wheel making the rubbing sound. I don't know, can you see the wobble? I think you can. Yeah, I had to go from 184th Street, which wasn't ideal for a ride, onto 100 Avenue, which is also Highway 16A coming into Edmonton, and there's no bike lane on that, so it's not a very far stretch. I didn't record it because it's freaking dangerous. There's 3 car lanes, they're all coming off a major highway, going pretty fast even though there's lights, and you can hear by the noise. But now I have a multi-use trail ahead of me, and I'm hoping this is going to take me all the way to where I want to go. Let's take it for a bit here before I shut off the camera again. And my wobbling wheel, in case you're wondering, it's still wobbling. It's not getting any better. Like, I don't know why it didn't break the spoke when there was an actual bump or strain on it. It's just really, really weird, but I guess these spokes are so old that the metal fatigue just is too much for them, or whatever, you know, like the tension that's on them. So what I think I'm gonna do is just probably get a quick release axle for a 36 spoke wheel, and then just rebuild the wheel with that. And that'll also make it possible for me to go on these rides without a wrench, because then I don't have to worry about having to change a tire and having to unscrew that wheel. So if you thought what I just did there to get across that intersection where they're building the LRT and all that was a little bit stressful, well, yeah, it was very, very stressful. It's not the kind of ride I like to do. I don't go to the West End all that often, and usually when I do, it's along the River Valley trails. This time I picked a different route. It should get better from here. I don't even care if I get lost a little bit. It's just I don't want to get run over, get hurt, die. Problem is, like this, I'm riding on a sidewalk right now, which is probably illegal. There's no signage here whatsoever, but one block earlier it was a multi-use trail, nice and wide and different kind of pavement, and now it's narrow, and you know, it's very, very few people walk here, but because it's not set up for walking, you know, it's set up for cars. I think you could tell that very clearly. Let's get across here. See, it's a sharp left. Nobody coming. That's good. Got a green light there, that's good too. The infrastructure is in poor shape. I should be going on the road, but I don't feel safe there, so I don't. My personal safety is more important than the bylaw. I once had a $100 ticket because riding on the sidewalk, similar situation, different place in town. I just kept going 178th Street south, and then it turns into Lessard Road, which also ends up at the Anthony Henday Freeway again. And now I'm back at 184th Street, the one that got interrupted. And I'm gonna try to go south on that one and see where it leads me. I want to get to the trail system now. This is the connection to the river valley, according to someone I just saw. But it is probably not good for riding. See, at this point, I'm kind of tired of the cars, of the roads, of the lights, of the interruptions, the poor infrastructure we have here. So I'm going down this hill, just gonna push the bike because I don't want to push my luck with the broken spoke. Maybe my other bike, I would have ridden it. So this is where I came out, and this is where I am now. This is like really, really nice. I'll just have to follow it a little bit in order to find out where this even goes. Guys, I just climbed a hill. It was pretty long and steep. Didn't record that, but yeah. Now here we have a map. It says that I'm here, and then this way it goes to the River Valley Trails. So guys, this is good. I'll be able to show you all the bridges down there. And guys, I'm no longer lost. I actually found the bridge that I was after. This is the Jordan somebody bridge. It's a memorial bridge, and on top of me is the Anthony Henday Freeway, and on the other side of the bridge there I'm now in the River Valley Trail system, and it's going to be real easy to find my way from here on out. I make a left turn, and this is probably the last of the cars that I'm going to hear for a while, because from here on it's all trails. Yeah, I'm getting tired of my wobbly wheel, but I'm pretty confident I'll make it home without incident. Famous last words. Gravel trail, and it's not the shortest way, guys. I just discovered that I'm kind of on a detour. Shared trail. See, I gotta go probably all the way around here. They don't tell you how far all this is. Shouldn't be too bad, but that's the bridge I'm trying to get to, and then from there it's paved trail, I believe. Ding, ding, ding.
I like it.
Yeah.
Oh no, except he's in the way.
Yeah. The doogie. Oh no. Ah, more noise. Crossing the North Saskatchewan River for the second time, and this is the Terwilliger footbridge. They have these fancy roofs here in case you need shelter. There's some benches there. Beautiful bridge. And from here on, I'm pretty sure it's all paved, except for maybe a little part I'm forgetting about. Beautiful country in the river valley. Trying to get going here. Poof. So this, guys, is the Fort Edmonton footbridge. There are some people down there on the island. It's even a beach over there, see? People are bathing in the river. Yeah, if you're gonna do that, it's probably the best spot here because it's before the river goes through the city where there might be a lot of crap running into it. All right, I'm gonna make a little stop here. And I'm gonna tell you about this brake bridge size adjuster that I made, because there was something that came to my mind. See, if this was a bike, or the frame was originally equipped with 27-inch wheels, they're slightly bigger than the 700 ones, right? So in that case, the wheel shouldn't have been so close to that bridge. See how close that actually is. So if you mount a brake on there, it's very little clearance and you hardly have any room for the tire. So what I did is I made a piece here out of an old crank that's aluminum. Really, all I did to make this was to cut it, then file this side around like so it would adapt to that bridge here nicely. You can see the shape of it. This was manually done with the round file. And then drill the hole through there for mounting the brake, and it works really well. But see, the thing about it is that I'm assuming, and I looked this up on Google, the Steve Bauer bikes from the mid-1980s, about 1986 to the early 90s, actually came with 700 size wheels. This frame originally most likely had 700 size wheels. And I went back to 27-inch wheels, or yeah, I switched it over because that's what I ended up with for free. And also that's what all the classic road bikes from the 1980s usually had. So I don't know what year exactly the 700s even became popular. I don't think in 86 they were all that popular. And the fork, I didn't have the same problem because this fork actually came from a different bike. It actually came from a real Bianchi bike. So that's the only Bianchi part on this entire bike, even though I equipped it with stickers. So that's my little secret, you know. But when somebody asks me and they say, well, this doesn't look like Bianchi or whatever, which it actually does. Most people don't question it. I just tell them, well, it's a Franken bike, and I built this, and I'm proud of it, and I'm riding it, I'm having fun. Well, guys, another quick stop here. This is White Mud Park. Finally, I found a water fountain. Filled up the water bottle and I just drank like a half a gallon of water, because that's the problem. See, this bike, there would be easily enough room here to install another bottle cage, and maybe if it gets reincarnated one more time, then that's exactly what's gonna happen, because the frame is big enough. Yeah, and if you're going on a big ride, I mean, that insulated bottle that I got, it doesn't even hold the liter. That's terrible. Need more. Well guys, this is the fourth time that we're crossing the North Saskatchewan River. You can see it's behind me there. Beautiful. So I'm in a very familiar spot now. This behind me is the famous Walterdale Bridge. They rebuilt that about, I don't know, probably 6 or 7 years ago. It's a really nice bridge, but we're not going to take it today. We're going to stay on this side of the river, and these trails that I'm going to be riding now, this is something I ride every week because it's usually my way to town or back or whatever, but there's a highlight in there and you're gonna see what it is, I think. Right, thanks. Okay.
It doesn't matter, because I still put on the same hole, right? Remember?
Yeah, you want it squared up. I guess it's a good reason to dismount. I've never seen them make somebody get out of their car at a construction site so that they push the car around the construction. You understand what I'm saying? This is just with bikes they could do it, I guess, but with anybody else, like on a motor vehicle, they'll never do that. So here's the low-level bridge, which is under rehabilitation right now. You can see construction equipment there. That's what the scaffold was all about. There's my bike. Up there is Canada Place. That's where the federal government has some offices and stuff. The river, and you see down there Edmonton riverboat, and you can do dinner cruises on there. Maybe one day you're gonna see me cruising on that boat. What do you think? Would you like to see that on YouTube? I just missed my ride, but it's coming back.
Third person, that's what I say. Over the shine, babe. Hey, look like hard stuff, man.
Huh?
Sex offenders. I heard all the police are sex offenders, bro. They got caught up in terrorism or DNA, being murdered for it.
Oh, this
I
stuff.
heard it. Yeah, there's a bunch of pockets.
Vandalized. Yeah, so much for that. So riding my bike downtown. This is a problem too right now because I should have been crossing the Jasper Avenue here already, but the connection for the bike lane over there is closed right now, so I have to keep riding on this whatever it is, you know. Is it a sidewalk? Is it a shared pathway? Well, I think it's good enough to ride on. I'm going right up to what is 96th Street, and that has like a sort of bike lane slash shared street status, which is a bunch of BS, because like as soon as you have cars in the mix, the recreational value is gone. Now here's something new. It's kind of a skate park. I haven't seen this before. I don't know how long it's been here. It's kind of neat, but now I have to connect to coming up on 96th Street here. Now here's a pretty bad intersection. So this is what I'm talking about. Supposed to be a shared street, and this hotel, I don't know how they can keep in business, because look, it's all boarded up. It's all boarded up, vandalism. That's what's happening. This was brand new just a few years ago. So crossing the LRT tracks. And see, this for riding a bike is ridiculous, because these are stones that shift every time it freezes and thaws. And unfortunately, we are in a place where it freezes and thaws all winter long. And look at this. Cars coming at you. And they expect you to stay out of their way, which defeats the whole purpose of calling this a shared street. And here's a bike lane that has been redone. I believe it was earlier this year. And look at this. Look at this. Yeah, and the fire trucks are too long to keep clear of it. Yeah, it's quite risky here to ride with one hand, but I got the camera running, so this part of the ride is something I do all the time, probably more than 2 or 3 times a week, depends, you know, but this is probably the way that I go toward the city center, downtown, most often, because it's the most direct. A beg button again. Yeah, thankfully this one doesn't take as long as most of them do. Now here's a pretty good trail, but it only goes up to the LRT station, and then we're talking crossing roads again, and you know, again, you have buttons, and you have traffic, impatient drivers, dangerous crossings. Broken glass. Made it across. Now, thank goodness these arms are coming down, because look at us. I have to deviate onto the sidewalk, and now I have to turn on a 90-degree angle, which makes no sense whatsoever, and go on the trail. Yeah, sometimes this crossing is dangerous because it's a very heavily traveled street, and because there's a train crossing, people will often overlook the pedestrians. Lots of close calls here, I tell you. And this has been a problem for many, many years. Nothing has been done. Absolutely nothing at all. It's not to say I'm not grateful. This is a great trail. Push button. Now this is a crossing that I know has cost lives. The time it takes to get a green light here has been reduced in recent months, maybe a year. Now from here on, it's a decent bike lane. This is fairly new, and there's even signage saying where it goes, you know, Fort Road 2.1 kilometers. Well, this turn isn't the best, but it's acceptable. I mean, it's a bike lane. What else can you ask for, right? So I'm now coming up on the exact same spot where I started this video. Yeah, somebody made a mess with a bucket of paint. I just pulled in here to conclude this video. I hope you enjoyed this ride. It didn't go as I had hoped, where I could just go and there'd be more bicycle friendly streets, and I know there are quite a few of the shared pathways, and as long as you're on there, it's a really good ride. However, you can never count on them continuing on past any major intersection. They usually stop. It's a little bit like the lottery, you know. You might end up with another stretch of shared pathway, or, you know, some multi-use trail or whatever, or you're stuck on the road, or you have to use the sidewalk even though you're not supposed to and you don't really want to. So Edmonton is like that. But as you can see, there are fantastic trails in the river valley, so as long as you stick to those, you'll have a good time. And what I did today is the west end of the city. I don't go there as often, you can probably tell, because it's further away from my house and I have to go through the entire city to get to that area. But sometimes it's worth it. However, the River Valley trails still end at the bridge where the Anthony Henday crosses, and then I think you end up on some range road if you want to continue on to Devon. And well, that's for another video. But I hope you enjoyed this one. I hope you give this a thumbs up. And well, now I got a wheel to rebuild. I'll share the process of that with you. So if you haven't subscribed yet and you're interested in that stuff, well, now is your chance. Do it now. Yeah. All right, see you next time.